Welcome back to our channel. We've got lots to update you on when it comes to the house, the tiny house, the property.
Yeah.
Lots of good stuff. So let's dive right in.
Yeah, we're going to get into all of it today. I think the last update was back in December, and a lot has happened since then. But maybe not enough has happened since then.
I think a lot has happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
some things more flashy than the other.
Yeah. So let's get into it. Welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, we're a married lesbian couple currently in the process of building a luxury tiny house on our dream property. Back in 2022, we bought some waterfront land on one of the Gulf Islands here in BC, and we're finally moving ahead with building a tiny home on it. If you're not already caught up, we have a playlist of videos full of property updates where we've been sharing the full process of working with a builder on our tiny house. Okay, so back in December, we took a break from everything. We went away for the holidays. It was very nice. We had gotten things to a good point, I feel like, with everything before everyone kind of took a break at the end of December, and we were feeling good. So the very beginning of January, when we were coming back from our little holiday away on the island, which was amazing, we decided to go to the property because we were kind of halfway sort of close there. It was like easier than going from home.
Yeah.
So we decided to stop off for the day on our way back, thinking, check things out, haven't been there since the summer, see what's going on. BC Hydro had been there. The septic people had been there. So just like kind of check things out.
Yeah, because there were the septic guy kind of put some flags on the property. We wanted to see what he was thinking and maybe just kind of measure some things as well. And we were looking at the weather because if you know BC, in the winter it rains and it rains some more. Yeah. As I say this on this beautiful sunny day.
It's actually really nice. Generally, it's gloomy.
We had some pretty nice weather leading up, and we thought, it looks like it's going to be a pretty nice day to do this because going there, doing the ferry, going to the property, obviously we are just outside. We've got the car, but we'll just be outside all day kind of thing.
And we've really only been in the summer, early fall, like that. We've never gone in the winter.
In nice weather. I don't think we've been in the rain at all.
No.
So we were hoping that it wasn't going to rain.
Yeah.
And it wasn't supposed to.
Yeah.
Of course, it poured the entire day.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
It was the only day we could go, but we had to get up at like 5 a.m. to catch the early morning ferry, which is always the case. Mm-hmm. And get in the kind of late morning. It was so cold. We were so bundled. We had tons of layers. Blankets, we had everything. Theo had layers on, but it was still so cold. And then we get there and we're tired and we're like, okay, it's gonna be okay. Yeah, it's exciting. Let's go. And we'll drive to the property.
Drive up to our property and at least we'll get to kind of chill. We'll have the car and we have snacks. We've got all the things.
Yeah.
So we're driving up and I kind of thought, the driveway into the property.
The driveway. Like, we don't really have a driveway.
I think we were discussing, actually, as we were going there, thinking, do we need to do anything with it? Like, it's a little bit, overgrown and stuff, but, we don't need, a driveway. We don't need to... We probably don't need to do anything.
Yeah.
We're driving up, and we get to a spot that's a little bit soggy from the rain. And we were talking up how great our Volkswagen Golf is, and it is.
We can fit so much stuff in here.
It's great. It's sporty. It's this. It's that. We get up and spin wheels, mud.
I think I have a couple clips of this. We didn't film much of this day because it was truly so miserable. But first thing that happens, we get stuck in the mud.
Yeah, we can't even drive. Can't get up.
Can't even get in.
I think, okay, our car is front wheel drive, so let's back in because that'll maybe help and I can get up. We got a little further, but then we still weren't able to make it up. So
meanwhile, our car is covered in mud. It was not a great start to the day.
It was a little rocky. So we thought, okay, that's fine. We can work with this. We'll just keep the car at the bottom of the driveway and we'll just walk up. It's fine.
In the rain. Yeah.
We'll layer up. We've got our raincoats and things. And then we get up to the property and we're kind of scoping out the section of the property that we had envisioned the tiny house going. We were going to measure it all out and maybe put some stakes down and stuff. And we kind of were just looking at it like, is this right?
Wait. What?
Did we make the right choice?
All the fear set in at once. It was very emotional. Tears were shed. I was just
the right choice of should we do a tiny house on the property? Because that
I had
part's-
moments of that.
Oh, you
I
did.
had
You did have
moments of like
that.
all of it, just like, what are we doing?
But mostly the spot on the property, because we'd kind of said before that we were going to keep the best spot on the property. We were going to not touch that and have that be the build spot when we eventually build the house.
So many things we were kind of thinking with that in mind. Same with the septic system and like all the services to put in. It's like we had this idea of one day we're going to do more here.
Yeah.
But
Which we will.
But we don't know when that is.
It might be a while.
It might be a long time, or who knows, like in however many years, I don't know, maybe, like, we just don't know. Like, we could end up selling it and moving the tiny house somewhere else, or we could end up selling the tiny house. I don't know. Like, we just don't know, and it's really hard to plan for the unknowns. And so we've kind of had all these plans in place, thinking about this imaginary next step that we'll do at some point,
doing
someday,
it in stages.
but then like all of that's affecting the decisions we're making now, and then like should it be affecting the decisions we're making now? Because right now we just want to be able to have something and to enjoy it and to have it be great. And so we were just like, maybe this is all fucking wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, we kind of thought we're doing this whole thing to like have ourselves like tucked back on the side of the property, the back of the property, where
it is like the most accessible to get to, but it's not. It doesn't have.
It's
the
not
best
It's not the nicest part of the property.
It's not the most
so
private.
I think
Yeah.
if we're gonna be spending, even if it's just the next couple of years with the tiny house before we build something, we still want those next couple of years to be utilizing the property in like the most beautiful spot. We want it to be the nicest for us when we go and enjoy it. So.
And technically we can move the tiny house later. So it's kind of like once we put it there, it's not so permanent. Like technically it can be moved. Is it easy? No. Like would that be a hassle? Yes. But everything will be a hassle when we get to that
All of this I tried to say on the day.
No, in the moment I was just like, this is all wrong. There
are two personalities at play here.
Yeah.
I immediately will not accept that something isn't going to work, and I will just try to find every single solution possible, even if it's completely outrageous and not possible.
Yeah. Whereas
I'm always just going to try to find the
solution. There are no solutions here. We have made a mistake. It was truly miserable. Truly a miserable day.
Yeah.
A miserable way to start the new year. A miserable way to like end our perfect holiday.
Yeah, I know. Like, it was such a relaxing
what are we doing?
time, and then to have it just be out in the pouring rain, freezing cold, thinking, oh my gosh, all of this just is wrong. What are we gonna do? How are we gonna fix this?
It was so miserable.
It was like the rug just got pulled out from underneath us, and we were like, oh, back to reality.
Yeah, it was not good. At one point, you were out like measuring stuff in the rain. It was pouring. I was in the car with Theo. He was shivering. He was so miserable. I was so miserable. And then he gets sick and he throws up, and I text Steph and I'm just like, I want to cry. Theo just threw up everywhere.
Meanwhile,
we are so cold.
At that exact time, I'm climbing up a steep part of the property in like rain boots. So like nothing, they're not grippy at all. And like I had just basically fallen and
like I just wiped out.
And luckily I caught myself. I got a branch and didn't slide down our hill into the ocean.
It was really bad.
Yeah. So I was like, do you need me? I'm kind of stuck at the moment.
It was a really bad day. It was a really bad day. And then we got home and we were just like...
Oh, no, we didn't get home.
Well, eventually.
Before we got home, we actually were told that we weren't going to get on the ferry home.
And we were like, no, we don't have anywhere to sleep. We don't live here.
Be stuck here. We have to go home.
Yes, please help us get home.
And then somehow... the person that with the ferry person,
she was like, "It's your lucky day."
She said that we were basically so lucky that we should go buy a lottery ticket. Like the way that she made it sound was like it was some sort of miracle that we even got on this ferry, which happened to be an hour plus delayed. So we ended up getting home like way later, but at least we got home. So that was kind of the somewhat silver lining of the situation. But
yeah, all in all, not the best day. And then we just got back and we were like, what are we doing? I feel like now we're changing our mind on everything. It's just like,
Yeah, so there was a lot to consider. So we did discuss options once everything kind of settled and we looked at it a bit more pragmatically.
Yeah.
And I feel like now we're at a good place again.
I think the major thing was we decided... let's not plan for this imaginary future down the line that we just don't know. Like, if we walk through all the different scenarios of what could happen in the next 5-10 years, like we just have no idea. So it doesn't make sense to plan for what we think is most likely to happen down the line. We just want to plan for now. So that does change things that we were thinking before. So in that way, it's good we went and got that information.
Definitely.
Obviously, it was very miserable, but it did, it changed our mind just on how we want to kind of do things in terms of setting up our services and just also the location of where we want to put everything, which is really important.
Yeah. And also, luckily, because the septic person had gone and kind of come up with a bit of a plan, none of that was affected by changing, or none of that will be affected. It's still going to go the same way.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
The only part that we still need to figure out is just, which we would have had to do anyway, is meet with the person who will be doing kind of the excavation for the site prep.
Yeah.
And really just ask, what's possible, how can we do this, how's the easiest way to drive it down into the spot and everything like that.
I think in general, the site prep is going to be more involved than we once thought.
And we'll have to do something with the driveway.
We will definitely have to do something with the driveway. Even if it's just like putting down.
It'll just be some like gravel
to make sure that we can get up in there.
So it's not muddy.
Yeah. And then I think in terms of just clearing an area, you basically need like a level kind of like an RV pad with like gravel, chips, compacted, whatever, something like that. But the area we need is quite big because we are doing a fairly large tiny home. And you need an area larger than the actual home will be. So either way, wherever it goes, we need to like
there was
clear.
Gonna be some excavation.
And I think like more than we maybe thought. So we still need to get quotes on that and see how that factors into the larger equation. But that is something that I think will be a little more involved. So that's still to come to figure out. But the septic people have been great. I would highly recommend, if anyone is doing anything like this, to go with a company who will do a site visit and then do like a very thorough like quote for you. Not just like, oh yeah, it might be like this much if we do something like this. Like they went through and gave us 4 different options, ranging in price, ranging in
pros and
types of systems, listing pros and cons. Like it was so thorough and it was so helpful.
Yeah. No, he's been great.
Yeah.
So the great thing with that is that we have decided what we're going to do for the septic and where it's going to go, and how we're going to do it in phases with capacity for a house at some point, but being able to build on instead of doing that all at once, because that is a bit of a cost that we can defer down the line without having to undo work that we'll be doing for the tiny house. So that was kind of the best case scenario, in that we could spread out the cost a little bit, but it's not disrupting any of the work that we do now when we eventually do something down the line.
Yeah, I'm really happy with that. The cost is not as much as we thought it might be, and it is a good way of doing it in stages for whatever might happen in the future. We could get so deep into it because we know a lot now about septic systems, so I don't know if you want like a whole video just on that and that process. But now we understand the design and where everything will go and how it's all going to work and how much it's going to cost and everything like that. I feel very good about that. We're on track for like the installation and all of that. I feel good about that.
Which is a huge thing. Because
that's the biggest thing.
That was always going to be the most complicated and hardest and potentially most expensive part.
So barring any like major, but I think it'll be okay, because even I was concerned that just our property was going to be tricky and like we weren't sure about the soil quality and just all these things that were like, maybe it's going to be really hard. But it actually, I don't think will be. I think it's going to be pretty standard. The trickiest part is just like getting people there to do the work, getting the materials there to do the work. Obviously, it's expensive to bring people to the island, paying for their ferry transport of materials, all of that. Like we knew that. But in terms of the actual system, it's not too complicated.
And we're going with someone who knows the island and knows the ferry systems and all that stuff, which is hugely beneficial.
Yes. I feel good about that.
Good.
Yeah.
That's in the win category.
Yes. Other than that, the other big things we are still working on are the water, which we still have time, but we do need someone to come and just like set up the well for the home.
Well pump and like hose hookup, basically. It is relatively straightforward. We will need a water filtration system. So that will be kind of the last thing that needs to be done. BC Hydro coming and just installing the box for the electricity.
Yeah, and they came and checked things out.
They did an assessment as well.
Yeah.
And that was great.
Yeah, which is nice because it's just like, it's part of their jurisdiction. They just have to do it. It's like, this is just part of our area that we service. And so even though it's like a ferry ride away, they just have to go and service that area. So that's pretty straightforward as well.
Yeah. So again, win category.
Win category. Mm-hmm. Yes.
The unknown category is obviously the site prep. So that will be interesting. But I think we decided that best thing to do is to go out there and meet with someone on site and walk through all of the things we had in mind.
Yeah.
See what we can do. See just how it will get done and the timeline. And the nice thing is that person works directly with the septic person.
Yeah.
So there will be some excavation for the septic installation, and they can basically just do that at the same time.
Yeah, because they have to dig a trench and all this stuff, and that all can happen at once.
Yes.
Ideally. Yeah. That was the other thing, is when we were there on that day, I was just like, we're going to have to go back here. We can't figure this out right now. So it doesn't really matter. We're going to have to come back here and do this again. So we will have to go soon and do that again soon. Hopefully on a nicer day.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Yeah.
But, you know, coordinating schedules with meeting people and stuff, like, that's not always guaranteed. So
yeah. Yeah. But the good thing is we started this all with giving ourselves lots of time. Mm-hmm. We feel that we are still on track. We hope that we still are. I feel like we still are.
Yeah.
It's not getting down to the wire yet.
Yeah.
So.
But what's so cool about this whole thing is that, you know, if you were just building a home in a traditional way on, like, doing the build on the property, all of this prep stuff would obviously need to happen first, and then the house would get built.
Yeah.
So all of this is happening simultaneously.
True, because our house is
being built.
In a
warehouse.
That part's great and easy. That part's so easy.
Yeah, that's what's so cool about the timeline of this. Like, that's why we can ultimately have something if everything's ready at the same time. You know, we're looking at only a few months of actual work,
which is crazy,
which is so cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a really good way of doing it.
Totally.
Especially building through the winter.
Yeah.
With all this rain, they're building that house inside.
Yeah.
So the weather's really not a factor, and then it'll just get delivered when it's all done, and then plug. Good to go.
Ideally. Honestly, the house is the easy part, which is so crazy. Like, that part is easy.
Yeah.
They're great. They've been so great keeping us updated on everything. And that part feels so easy. We still have a couple design things to sort out, but we're, like, really close at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think with the design updates, we'll do a more in-depth update with all those choices and things next.
Yeah.
Right?
Because we need to go shopping for a few things. Tile, we're still trying to figure out. We need to go look at some furniture, look at couches, maybe some fabric for certain things. So we'll bring you along for that and kind of talk through some of those choices and where we're at and what we've decided on, because there have been things we've gone back and forth on. I feel like we're finally kind of settling into the final decision. So we are getting really close. Yeah,
it's exciting. Things are looking pretty good.
Now that we say it all,
we started
all
with
like
the kind
that.
of like catastrophic visit, and in thinking about it, we're actually doing pretty well.
Good shape. I hope
reminder.
So, barring any major disasters. Yeah. Okay, so maybe we'll leave it at that. But let us know the questions that you have, because, like I said, if you want a whole video just about septic systems, we could do that. If you want a whole video just about tile choices, like, there's so much more we could say.
We didn't even get into the sand mound versus biofilter versus
there's a lot.
No, I'm no expert, but
I feel like we know a lot more than we did.
True.
We know a lot more than we did.
It is an interesting process.
No, the whole thing's been really interesting, and it's been fun and all kinds of things, fun and stressful and weird and all the things to navigate it together. And all these, like, tradespeople, and they're all men, and they're all just like, so what's the relation? Is it your sister? They're like, just us. It's just us. But no, it's been a very interesting experience. Yeah.
So anyway, hopefully that was a fun little update, and let us know the questions that you've got and comments and all of that. And we will have a design update for you very soon.
Yeah, we could show you like the renderings and everything. We're getting so close. We're getting so close. It looks so good. I'm excited. I'm excited about that. And then, yeah, we could always bring you along when we eventually go back to the property because we did not film on that miserable day.
Yeah, I did a little bit, but
like,
it was mostly for like logistics
purposes.
and measuring and yeah.
Yeah, but we will have to go back out there, so could do that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we will be back soon. Thank you so much for watching.
We'll see you soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.